Reinoso here with Reinoso Global Consulting and My Living Media. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about the 3 F words. The 3 F words that you should be proud of. The 3 F words that have allowed me to close millions of dollars in business, and the 3 F words that has allowed me to save many relationships. Let's get started. Have you ever spoken to people and you always felt like you were heard? Like you walked away from that conversation and you said, gosh, I like that guy. I like that girl. I like the way they made me feel. I like the way they heard me. Meanwhile, they barely said anything. They really didn't say much. They just let you speak. And then the few things that they said, it allowed you to walk away feeling like you were heard, like they understand you, like they really care about you, like they gave you that empathy and that understanding. Keyword there, empathy, that understanding that, you know what, you're probably right or you're probably wrong, but at least you walked away feeling like as though you were right, vindicated, validated, right? That is called the power of listening, knowing how to listen to understand. Now, it's easy for me to sit here and say, listen to understand. I also have a great acronym called REACT, okay, which stands for, REACT stands for repeat, empathize. I'm not going to spell it all out, right? Empathize, repeat, ask, okay, close, and thank. Be thankful. React, okay? React. React has allowed me to close a lot of business. But then I started thinking, if I'm repeating and I'm empathizing and I'm asking the right questions and I'm going in for the close and then I'm thankful for everything, including the opportunity to work with this organization or this person, I started breaking it down and I go, well, what am I really doing? What am I really doing when I'm repeating and I'm empathizing? How am I making them feel that I'm really listening to them? And that's where these 3 F words came in that I was doing without even knowing I was doing it. But one of my mentors shared it with me because this is actually something that many people have been using for many years. First F word. Check it out. Write this down, folks. You're going to love this. First F word, feel. Second F word, felt. Third F word, found. And we'll talk about how you could use this in business and in your own personal relationships. Folks, I've been married for almost 24 years. Trust me. You have to make that special someone feel super special, and she deserves it. Now, let's go with feel. When you're doing business, many times your prospect, whether it's a person, an organization, business to consumer, or business to business, many a times they're in a state of complacency. They're in a state of confusion. They don't really want to say yes. They don't know. So what do? They give you every objection, right? Let's just say, for example, they say, you know what, Mike, I don't want to advertise with you and with your media company because, you know, quite frankly, I'm doing everything digital right now. Or, you know what, I'm actually have grown my business for the last 10, 15 years, word of mouth and referral. I'm not looking to advertise in print media. Thank you for stopping by, right? Most people sit there and go, gosh, 15 years in business, 20 years in business, they've grown their business, word of mouth referral, they're just going to go digital. How do I overcome them? How do I get them to think differently? And let's say, because here's the data. The truth is that if they do advertising, print media, along with digital media, that ROI would actually be tremendous by north of 30%. Proof data has shown. When you do both, your ROI goes up by an additional 30%. So why wouldn't you do both? It's called an omni-channel approach to your marketing spend, right? Why wouldn't you tackle the market and try to win every area? But some sales reps might sit back and go, well, how do I overcome this? Do I just sit there and say, you know, Mike, great idea with your marketing, with your digital strategy, but quite frankly, you should really consider print as well. That's not overcoming an objection. That's not making the person feel good about their decision. That's arguing with them. And when you argue with somebody, the only thing you could do from arguing in a verbal manner is fighting. That's it. So how can you go from arguing to closing? Impossible. Disagreeing to closing. Never going to happen, right? So where does feel come in? You know, Mike, that's fantastic. 20 years in business? Shoot, I'd feel the same way if I've been in business for 20 years and been this successful. Congratulations. That's great. In fact, you know what's interesting? 20 years in business and doing it digitally or doing it organically with word of mouth. In fact, it comes to mind some of the companies that we're working with, some of the businesses that we're working with, they actually felt the same exact way when I met them too. In fact, this pizza organization, this pizza restaurant I was talking with the other day, the owner, he'd been in business for 19 years and word of mouth, and he's doing great as well. In fact, this dentist office, this medical practice, in fact, this massage, in fact, this gym, whatever it is, listen to those words. When I was first speaking with them as well, they shared the same thing. They've been in business for many, many, many years, doing a tremendous job, and they kind of see where you're coming from. I'd feel the same way. In fact, they felt the same exact way. But here's what we found: that when businesses actually invest in digital and in print at the same time, having a direct focus to the zip codes and the areas that they're looking to dominate, they've seen sales increase by 32%. And you pause. Feel. I see how you feel. Many business owners that we work with, that's also been in business for many years, felt the same way. But here's what we found. Imagine that. Simple 3 words, the framework to success. I get home, my wife's talking to me. She says this, that, the other. She's frustrated. I could sit there and discredit her, try to argue with her, or try to figure things out. Meanwhile, what do I want to do? Lead the person, lead your prospect, lead your spouse, lead your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your friend, whoever, down the path to success, which is a sale. To me, a sale is when you move another human in the direction that you desire, right? So now, you know what, sweetie? You know what? If I'd have went through that too, I'm sure I would feel the same exact way. In fact, I'm sure many people felt like that too. If you had to do all these things with our children or with this or with that. But you know what I think? I have to believe that if we truly were to go speak to other people, I'm sure we would find that what we're going through is very common. And you pause. Instead of saying, stop, you're wrong. Everybody goes through this. Feel, felt, found. You could thank me later and put in the comments below how many marriages I'll save there, or relationships, right? Feel, felt, found. Don't stop. Utilize these 3 frameworks to help you close more business. In fact, here's what I would love. Watch this video, repeat it again. Now, watch this video, repeat it again. Now, watch this video, repeat it again. Send this to other people in the business game, in the sales game, or a friend who you think might be going through a relationship or a communication issue, and have them understand what this means. Feel, felt, found. Comment below if you love this video. Like it, share it. I look forward to connecting with you again next time.